So here we go, buddy. Welcome to another edition of the Kings of Anglia Track the Girls Talk podcast, proudly sponsored by good old John Fowler Solicitors. Big up Mike Kennedy as ever for his support. I'm joined as ever by my co-host and Town Women skipper, Blue Wilson. We got our first win of 2023, Blue. How was things? It was a cold Sunday in London. We got a very important 3 points. How's things?
All good. Recovered from London. Not too far of a trek, which was nice. Makes a change. But it started off, it actually started off warm because I had all the layers on. Yeah. I was prepared fully. I had leggings under my trackies. I had about 5 jumpers on. And I sat by the pitch. I was like, actually, you know what? This is all right in the warm-up. And then suddenly something just switched and it went to like Baltic. And then I had all the coats on me, blankets. But I can't imagine it was fun taking pictures in that. What did you have? Fingerless gloves or... Can you deal with that, or?
I'm used to it now because of the amount of games I do, but you're never fully prepared because, as you said, the sun was out, the sun was shining, and we thought, okay, it's not going to be too bad. But then the sun just disappeared in the second half, definitely. But I did a rookie move in the first half. I left my gloves on the coach, and I was like panicking. I was like, where the hell are they? And I was like, I couldn't find them. I thought I'd dropped them somewhere, pitch side somewhere else. So I was concerned they could be anywhere. And I thought, I'm not going to have any gloves at all. But then at half time, I went on the coach and I found them. And I was like, God's sake, could have had them the whole game. But no, it was a cold afternoon. But thankfully, the girls got the win. We're going to get right into it. This week, we are guestless, Blue. Sadly, a late cancellation. But we're all good. Just you and me doing a 2-pod show. But I'm sure we'll bring the fire as always. And let's just get into it then, Blue. Let's not muck about.
Let's do it.
London Bees away, a fixture that wasn't in, but then got penciled in. So we did have a game. We were opportunity to bounce back after the defeat against Pompey. What's your thoughts on the start of the game? A bright start, a competitive affair. London Bees, they're a physical side, but we took them to them.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the first half in particular, we definitely dominated. We created some really good chances actually, and I know we mentioned before it's good to see us create some clear-cut chances. Even though we went in at 0-0 and didn't convert them, it was nice to see the build-up play. And because we were playing on Astro, it definitely helps our style of play. We like to keep it on the floor and play nice football and play patterns which we work on in training throughout the week. So it was really good to see those sort of come into play. Obviously, we had a strategy going into the game, so we work on that. And then if that's not possible, if the game doesn't present itself or they set up slightly different, we then adapt. But an enjoyable first half. It just needed. We could have probably had 3, I'd say, in the first half. It needed that finish, that final product, which I think we've been talking about quite a lot this season. But going in at half-time, I wasn't too concerned because we were creating some really good stuff and I think we contained London Bees quite well. But I think they've improved a lot since we last played them, a lot. They were a really good side yesterday. So, yeah, going into half-time, pretty happy. Had a few words with the midfielders, sort of bouncing thoughts off each other, seeing what it feels like on the pitch, because it's very different for me sat on the bench and me telling, you should be doing this or should be doing that, and them actually feeling it and feeling the pressure. But that was all good. And then second half, it sort of all happened really. I don't know how much we want to go into it, but there was a sin bin involved. I think the last one was Paige Peak. I can't remember who it was against. Can you remember who it was against?
Oh, I'm sure someone who has listened to this podcast will know. But yeah, I have no idea. So many games, but I don't know. But so Pescott got sin binned for people who don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very rare though. It doesn't happen that often, and when it does, I think, does anybody know what to do? Like, how long is it? 15 minutes, 10 minutes, where someone has to go off the pitch and
I know.
Everyone just giving Pescott a coat to keep warm and everything, and just prepare to come back on. But yeah, it is a weird moment where you just see a player. Yeah, we're 10 men for that many times, but she can come back on the pitch at some point. But yeah, it's just, it wasn't a great moment, but it's just one of those moments in the game where I think it was just a fiery game because, London Bees, there was some great tussles going on, and some words being said by both teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that one moment, Pescott, unfortunately, and got the sin bin.
I think emotions took over. But I think it's only some refs in the league that use it really.
Yeah.
But it's 10 minutes off. I think it's for dissent or, words with the ref, basically, to put it politely. But then sadly in that 10 minutes we went 1-0 down, which I think was probably in the grand scheme against the run of play. And we were all sitting on the bench like, oh, this is awkward. But I felt for Pesk in that moment because I felt like, oh, how much guilt is she going to be feeling right now? But you know what? She turned it around. She came back on. Joe put trust in her to bring her back on, and came in and scored a goal. So fair play to Pesk. She bounced back, even if it was off the side of her face.
Yes.
Not the cleanest of finishes. I've seen nicer goals, but they all count.
Yeah, indeed. And we'll get into both our goals in a minute. But I just want to sort of rewind back to the first half and at half time. And I will admit, I wouldn't say I wasn't happy, but I was just like, I was like, no, I don't want this to be the day where you're freezing your butt off. My gloves are on the coach. I'm tired and it's 0-0. But as you said, we did have some chances and some clear-cut chances, which we didn't have against Pompey. Laff had a really good chance, should be scoring there. Freya Godfrey, of course, coming and starting, I think, for the first time for a while. She had a few chances herself. Pescott had a chance as well. Anna had a few chances as well.
Yeah.
But I was just pleased that we were actually getting some chances, and their keeper made some good saves. We're doing some good deliveries. Megan Waring as well, sort of rising highest. Like to see that, one of our defenders rising highest and getting the header. I thought she had a good game. But yeah, for me, I was just so pleased that there were just chances from us in the game.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a big focus for us. Big focus. I actually thought we were going to score from a corner in the first half because the balls that get, on the most part, were really good balls in. And it is a matter of time before Megan Waring scores a bullet header.
Yeah.
And I think once she gets one, I think I'm seeing 4-5 a season, I reckon. That's my prediction once she gets one. But I'm sure it'll come at some point. I can see her fuming every time she sprints back, and she sprints back, and she's fuming. She's like, oh, I can't get it on target, but it'll come. But like you said, nice to see some more clear-cut chances. I think also the mix-up in, I know we like our style of football is very much playing certain patterns and playing in certain areas of the pitch to pull the opposition into certain areas to then exploit others, but actually some directness from the back, which was definitely notable from the centre-backs in particular, playing balls over the top, and then whether it's Anna or another runner getting in behind, I thought that was really effective, actually. And what it means is that you play a few of those over the top and their defence starts to drop off a little bit, and then it opens up gaps in the midfield for players like Pesk or Tash if she wants to drop in, or EK or Kyra to then get on the ball. So it's more effective than I think we realise, and that was nice to see also.
It was indeed. Although we were offside a few times. I was like, no! Yes. I was like, come on. Yeah. But to be fair, London Bees had a very high line, and I think it just happens. And but yeah, good to see in the first half a few chances. But yeah, goalless, as you said, going into half time. Then, of course, we already spoke about the Pescott sin bin, and against the run of play, London Bees scored, and as you said, it felt a bit, oh god, here we go, 1-0 down. But there was still, half an hour to play, so I was never concerned like, this is going to just be a 1-0 game. I always felt, we were creating chances. We're going to score one of them at some point. Hopefully, a Megan Waring bullet header. Unfortunately, that is coming soon. Maybe this weekend. We never know.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it indeed. Yeah, the winner. That'd be great. But yeah, how were you feeling sort of when they won 1-0 up and you're like, okay, London Bees are a better side than we... I don't think we ever underestimate any team. I think any team can win any team. Any team can win against any team in this division. But I just felt, oh God, 1-0 here. But it's just against the run of play, unfortunately.
I think it's because historically we're not great at bouncing back from going behind. So sort of naturally it hits you a little bit where you're like, oh, I'm not sure we like this, especially against the run of play. But I think that was the big takeaway from yesterday, that actually we weren't 1-0 down. We were with 10 players, and you know what, we bounced back. That was my big takeaway. It wasn't the missed chances or whatever. It was our character to come back, and even though it is a team low down, I think that's probably one of their best performances in a while. Is what I've heard. So yeah, I really, like you said, we didn't underestimate them, but they really showed up on the day. So I think it's a bigger win than we realise, actually. That's my reflections sort of the day after. But I'm sure we'll talk through the goals now.
Yes, we shall. Yeah, very important 3 points. Tash's goal. Good to see her back on the score sheet. Her 10th of the season. Good finish. Great ball from Anna. And an overall good performance from Tash. I thought she held up the ball really well, got in really good positions. Very good finish. Just being alert in the box. And she had a few chances before that, but she was there, being alert. And great performance all around from her.
Yeah, she definitely covered some ground. Yes. I saw her sprinting, pressing. Great ball by Anna. The pace on it was perfect. And Tash, although it is a tap in, but it's a difficult tap in, I think, especially the pace the ball's coming at, a lot harder than it looks. I'm going to give her that credit. It's a lot harder than it looks. Yeah. And then the reaction from that goal, I don't know whether you saw it, Ross, or whether you're too busy trying to get the perfect shot, but everyone grabs the ball, sprints back. And I think from that moment, I'm like, yeah, we're going to win this game. And I think speaking to the players after who were on the pitch, they all knew in that moment that they were like, yeah, we're going to win this game. So that's how important momentum is in football, and that belief that you're going to win. Because it's a game of football changes so quick, doesn't it? So quickly.
Yeah, it does. Tash did actually apologise on the coach on the way home, to sort of say, yeah, sorry that I didn't celebrate. And I was like, don't worry about it. It was an equaliser. I wasn't expecting a celebration. I think it was Baz who picked up the ball and she ran with it. And I think Pescott was there as well. And, I don't mind, it's an equaliser. And as you said, I think the word we can use is buoyed. I think it's buoyed. Is that the phrase you say when a team is buoyed after scoring? That's probably wrong. I think I read that. I read that on Kieran's match report. He said like Town.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Like a buoy you find in the sea which floats.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, yeah.
That's what I read from his. Yeah, that's what I've seen in his report. The Ipswich Town Women were buoyed after. Yeah.
Oh God, he's been reading Thesaurus. I reckon he's run out of words to describe it. So.
Yeah, but I just thought, they were buoyed, and then that's why we got the second goal. So we had that momentum. And let's talk about Pescott's goal. Probably not. She's happy she scored, but probably not the goal she was hoping to score for her first goal since her return. A scramble, but a goal is a goal. It hits her cheek, nose, or a jaw, or it hits her face and it goes in. But sometimes we just need that, don't we? I think we don't get that often. A bit of luck where it hits anybody's body part and just goes in. We just need that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we deserved it on the most part of the chances we created. But it was kind of like she'd scored, and I'd seen that she'd scored, but everyone ran to laugh because I think they thought it was some own goal and it'd been deflection and it was Laugh's corner. And then Pesca sort of running like, where is everyone?
Just scored. Where are you going?
Yeah, I know. I've just scored. First goal back from injury. I'm sure she pictured it slightly better in her head, but a really important goal. Really important goal.
Yeah, very important. And I think for me as well, as a photographer, I was trying to I always sort of know if it's a corner, I always know they're going to probably go and celebrate with the corner taker. But for some reason, I felt it was like Tash or Pesca, they're both in there. And I thought one of them scored. So I was trying to focus on that. But then I had a feeling like, I don't know, I had more feeling that Pesca may have scored it. So I got a picture of her and Cara sort of celebrating. Then I went, where's everyone going? They all went to laugh. Celebration pic is now ruined. It's not about me. It's just when celebrations come into play. That's when I'm like, can't be able to get that. But I'm sure she was hoping for a nice finish and a nice knee slide in front of me, but it wasn't the case. But an important goal, and I want to bring up Blue. In the first half, she actually went down, and I was like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" But I think everything was fine. I think it's just one of those moments because this pitch. It was called a 5G pitch. I'm getting confused now. There's 3G pitches, there's 4G pitches, there's 5G pitches. Of course, internet, there's 3G, 4G, 5G. But what's the difference with a 5G? Is it just... Do you know any more on this? I'm lost.
Not a clue. Not a clue. Newer, maybe. I don't know. It didn't have that many black bits on it.
Yeah.
But it...
It's do you know what? This is weird. I didn't smell it, but you can just, because I was sitting down. I forgot my stool on the coach as well when I just didn't bother bringing it out in the second half. But it smelled more like, grass, like proper, grass on, pitch grass. So maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know where
the main thing was that it was flat and it wasn't windy.
Yes.
Because it was lower than everything around it. Yeah. And obviously we had the lovely train coming past every now and then.
That's nice. Yeah.
And we forgot to mention actually the warm up. So next to if you didn't head to London Bees, so they've got the Hive, obviously the stadium, which we couldn't play on because it was too short notice. But then they've got these 5G pitches. Yeah. And next to those 5G pitches, they've got loads of five-a-side. So there's some boys playing on the pitch we played our game on before. So we had to warm up on these five-a-side pitches. And it just made me think, I'd love five-a-side. Yeah. I'd do anything to play five-a-side right now. Yeah. It's such a good game. I know I know that's your thing now, Ross. You are a pro five-a-side player. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I do, as I say, get a stitch very, very quick. So I do go in goal. But it's great fun, five-a-side. If you don't ever play five-a-side, it's just great fun for your fitness and just a bit of fun. But yeah, I will admit, when I sort of came out, I always like to get some warm-up shots. And when I saw all the girls in the cage, cage basically, I was like, yeah, going back on the coach. I'm not taking that. That's just ridiculous. But that's the situation we're in. And they did eventually, of course, go on to the main pitch and sort of do the final bit of drills. Because, you want to do some shooting drills and you want to do some more on the ball work. Because in the five-side pitch, there's not much room to run about. Maybe just some stretching and stuff.
Yeah.
But to be fair, though, it's not a bad little setup there.
No, it's nice. Really nice.
Like where you can get food. There's a Starbucks there and there's... a proper good cafe bit there as well, and there's loads of TVs. There's TVs outside, so there was games on. The Arsenal Man United game was on there before we were leaving. But nice little setup. But if anybody knows about 5G pitches, let us know because what's the difference? They're just making it up now. But we want a bad little setup there. So well done to them. I think we just now gone down a hole. How did you out this hole, Blue? 5G
I've got a point, actually. I've got a point. I thought the support was great.
Yes.
Loud. I thought it was extra loud, actually. Given the game was organised at a late date, I think it was 5 days' notice.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Ipswich Town fans there. Flags were out, of course. Yeah. And they made some noise, which was really good to hear. It does make a difference. Noise does really make a difference. And I'm hoping that's something that the fans will bring in for this Sunday. Big game this Sunday.
Yeah, big game this Sunday indeed. Just final reflections, Blue, on the win. Up to thirds. We're actually on joint points with Pompey, who've beaten us twice this year. But we've got the same points, same wins, draws and defeats, both on 22. We are 5 points away from Oxford, who haven't been beaten yet. Someone please beat Oxford before we, of course, hopefully beat them when we play them. But yeah, it's not bad if you look on it. It's still a lot of we are now chasing the teams, but to have the same amount of points as Pompey, the same amount of games played, it's not too bad overall.
Yeah, it did surprise me actually. So that's a decent position. You've obviously got Watford in fourth. You've got a couple of games in hand. So if they win both of those, we'll go above us. But we are chasing and we're relying on a bit of luck, perhaps. I don't think Oxford are going to get beaten at home. So I'm hoping some away game they have an absolute shocker and someone comes up and beats them. But yeah, we'll focus on ourselves for now. I think it'll be nice to have an FA Cup break and then get back to the league. But we've got to focus on ourselves because a lot of it's out of our control now, given the sort of results we've had. So yeah, we'll focus on that and see where we are, a few games towards the end of the season. I think that's all we can do.
Indeed. Great words there, as always. And one thing as well, it was good to see that we saw the game out as well. And, London beat, there's a scare at the end where they ball came across, the box. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. But no, good character to get the win. Important 3 points. And it sort of makes us prepared, ready for this weekend because it's a big game in the FA Cup, a competition we love, of course. The 4th round of the competition is actually weird to have both Ipswich Town sides in the same round of the FA Cup because the men, of course, also playing Burnley on Saturday in the 4th round. Their record in the FA Cup is not great, but we're both playing on the same weekend in the 4th round of the competition, which is great. Both playing championship sides. Of course, we're playing Lewes at the AJ Arena, which has been a long while since we've been there, since November. So it's nice to be home, have some home comforts, go into the sweet shop and just travel down the road. But let's talk about Lewes then, Blue. As I said, a championship side. 6th in the table as it stands. 4 wins, 4 draws, 2 defeats. On a pretty good run of form. What's your thoughts on them overall? We reacted to the draw when it did happen. A month, it was last year actually in 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good little challenge for us.
It'll be really interesting to see the level we're at compared to where they're at. I'm intrigued to see the team they put out, whether they go full strength as they would as a normal league game or whether they switch it up slightly because it's an FA Cup against lower opposition. I think if they'd done their homework, maybe they wouldn't go too weak because you never know what we can do in the FA Cup in particular. So to gauge the gap perhaps between us and the Championship will be really good to see, especially as they are a mid-table solid Championship team. No doubt they're going to have good quality. But yeah, anything can happen at Felix, so can't it? So we will see. We will see, Ross.
Yeah, and should I say this? I'm just hoping the weather's fine. I'm touching wood here.
This was my worry. This was my worry. I was like, well, it is freezing right now. It is the AJ Arena. It doesn't currently have undersoil heating, and I don't think they're going to install that in time for Sunday. But apparently temperatures are meant to rise slightly to about 8 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
So we should be all right.
Should be all good to go. That's my only fear. But of course, the FA Cup, it can get rearranged quickly. But hopefully this weekend we have got a game, 2 p.m. kickoff, Championship side Lewes. Quickly talk, Blue, about Lewes as a side quickly because, it's nice for us because last year, we played West Ham. Great day against Super League team. But I think we always wanted that little test to play against Championship team because that is the ambition is to play in Championship football, first of all, before we get to the Super League, of course. But I think we wanted like a Championship side in the draw, but we didn't get it. We got a Super League, so yeah, that's great. That's good, of course. But it's a nice little test. Is there any players we should look out for? I sort of made you do some research quickly on some players, but just name drop a few that you think maybe look out for the weekend for Town fans.
Yeah, so they've got a midfielder called Amelia Hazard, which I think Bonnie actually crossed paths with at her time in London Bees. So I think she'll be in the midfield. But Bonnie knows her as a player, so hopefully that'll be a strength for us. I've seen they've recently signed Charlotte Wardlaw on loan from Chelsea. So Chelsea youngster, he's previously been at Liverpool on loan. She had a great season last season. Sort of a midfielder, but been playing at right back. So whether she'll play as she's new into the team. But yeah, that's my sort of knowledge on that. I know there was a striker that you had looked at.
Yeah, Emily Croft. Don't know where I've got Amelia from, but Emily Croft, who's played in Germany. Well, she's born in Germany. She's a young forward, 20 years of age. Signed for Lewes this year, but yeah, has played in Germany for Frankfurt, the second team. But he's currently he's had one cap for the Republic Islands, so she changed her nationality or whatever it's called. What's the thing called?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think.
That sounds right. I think it's national. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there is a proper. Yeah. There's a proper word, footballing word for it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
I
think she'll probably play. She's sadly, I've just done some research again. She did her cruise ship. She's done it twice. She's done it twice. So for her to bounce back, she's a young girl as well, only 20. So her to do it twice and
Wow.
come back from it, and she's played a few times this season. So yeah, it'd be good to see if she plays this weekend. So, but yeah, it's just great to play against New Zealand. So we've never played against Lewes before. We've never crossed against them, and they've got a very their club have got a good ethos, haven't they? Because I think they paid both the men and the women's team the same, which is good.
Yeah, I remember that coming out. Maybe was it a couple of seasons ago, and they made a big statement point about it. And I was like, that's the first time I've seen something of that sort. And I think whenever Lewes is mentioned to me, I always think of that point that they're very much about equality. And yeah, I think it's a really strong club ethos, and it's brave to go out there. So fair play to the owners and the people above who have invested in them and seen that what potentially the women's game could grow into. And I kind of hope it has been successful for them. They're currently sitting in middle of the championship. So it's good to see clubs like that get rewarded for that. But we are looking to beat you on Sunday, so I'm not going too happy.
No, definitely not. I've just done a research on their manager, Scott Booth. He's played a lot of football, himself. He's over 300 appearances. He's played for Aberdeen, played for Dortmund, played for FC 20. It won 22 caps for Scotland. So he's been around the block as a player. Now he's, of course, coaching. He was at Glasgow City. He was at Birmingham City as well. Don't know. I should have maybe asked Joe if he knows him. Maybe he does know him. We'll find out. What we can ask.
Charlie might know him. Birmingham Link.
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said Joe. I think I just had Joe in my mind. Always thinking of you, Joe. Always thinking of you, my friend. But yeah, maybe Charlie knows him. But yeah, it's always interesting to see sort of managers who have had a playing career as well. And that is a good resume on Scott Booth. So it'll be interesting how he'll be in the dugout. But yeah, big game, Blue. How you feeling going into it? As I said, it's just going to be nice to be back at AJ Arena, back home. I'm sure fans are looking forward to it as well, as it is a FA Cup doubleheader. Hopefully fans will go to Saturday, go on Sunday. Yeah, give us some info that you know.
Yeah, to be honest, we'd been so focused on London Bees that actually it probably not until that game has been out of the way that we've now sort of settled in it's FA Cup week now. So we've got a few training sessions this week, so we'll be full focus on that. And I love FA Cup build up in training because you'll have a meeting or whatever, and this is what this could do for us. This is what the draw could look like for us. And it's almost like a one hit. You've got 90 minutes. And if you can't do it in 90, you've got more and then pens maybe. And it's just such a nice, I don't know, it's almost like instead of being the league, you have to play 20 games or whatever to get a reward. It's sort of an instant reward. So I think it hits players quite well. But I love it. There's always a bit of excitement around the training ground in training, and we'll all be thinking, can I score the winning goal against the championship side? I think that helps as well when you're playing against a team which you should get beaten by, really. That underdog mentality, I think, can be very, very dangerous. So I'm excited. I'm not even playing, I'm excited.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a very good day, and yeah, good challenge for all the players taking on a championship team. Some championship players who some of them have been former internationals or could be internationals now, maybe young internationals. But yeah, it should be a good afternoon at the AJ Arena. If you can go and support the girls. They always appreciate it as always. 2 p.m. kickoff. Bring it on. Hope you've enjoyed this very snappy but always great podcast, Kings of Anglia Track the Girls Talk podcast. Blue, I'll let you take it away. Thanks for joining me as ever. Take it away.
Big thanks to our sponsors, John Fowler Solicitors. It's been nice to just have you and me, actually, Ross, for a change. It's nice to go back to the old days. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Sunday at the AJ Arena, 2 p.m, FA Cup 4th round against Lewes. Come support us and be loud, please. Have a good one.